Now what I'm going to do is look at adding an image in a table using the rich text editor. Adding an image in a table is beneficial because it gives you some more control over what the page will look like even under different circumstances or across different devices. So here we are back at the rich text editor. I've already shown you how to add an image, and those images that you've added, they're still available. So what I want to do is set up a table. Okay, so I'm going to insert a table. In this case, I'm going to make it 2 by 1. A couple things I need to do to this table to make it friendly for my use. Number one, I need to set up some table properties. And if you'll notice here, I'm going to make this 100%. What that means is no matter what device you're on, this table is going to try and take up 100% of that available device. What happens if you try to set it by pixel size? Pixel size changes from device to device, and so it's going to look different on different devices. You might not be able to see part of the screen on certain devices. So that's why I like to use percents, and I'm going to take up 100% of the page. Okay. One other thing that I want to do is I want the image side to be smaller than the text side. So I'm going to go over here, make sure that this is the cell that I'm clicked in. Okay, and I'm going to go to cell properties. Cell properties, I want that to take up 30%. And so the other side is going to take up 70%. Okay, now that I've got that set up, I can go over here to my image and just drop it right in. One more, well, let me enter the text first. And I don't want to enter a lot of text, so I'm going to make this large. Okay, this is the image of a mountain that I found on the internet. Okay, so now I have some text. Again, you could put a picture of yourself and say this is your class, however you want to do it. One last thing I need to do before I leave here, okay, is I need to size that image to fit inside the text box. Now it looks like it's already sized, but it's really just kind of a force fit deal. Watch what happens when I click on this corner here real quickly. Well, you didn't see it. It showed real big and then it got small. Okay, what I want to do is I want to make sure it's fitting inside that text box so that when I click save, and I'll do that right now. There we go. We got a pretty good look there. And notice as I make the page smaller, it doesn't really change a lot, but as I make it larger, it all fits on the screen size. Nothing's, it adjusts the text and it adjusts the picture so that it fits on whatever device it is we're viewing it on. And I like that feature by using the percents. Okay. One last thing I wanted to share with you before we leave is the idea of using buttons. These can be useful for linking to various websites, kind of make the page look a little fancier. So let's go back here. First, let's add a couple spaces down. I'm going to put this a little below that. Insert a table. Let's go with 4 buttons, so 4 by 1. And as I set my table properties, let's say this time I only want to take up 80% of the available space. I don't want it to go all the way edge to edge. So I'll set that at 80%. And I want it to center. And one last thing I also have to do before we go any farther is set the cell spacing so that they're all equally shared. So I'm going to make each cell 25% because there are 4 cells. Okay, now as I go back into my images and I start dropping them in there, they're going to evenly space, 25% each. Let's see, there's one more. Okay, and it looks nice and neat. Now, one last thing again I have to do before I leave here is I have to take those images and fit them into the text box. So this one's a little larger, going to shorten it up. There we go, same with Google. Okay, I want it to fit inside that textbook or that text box nice and neat so it doesn't overwhelm. And number 4. Okay, so there I have 4 buttons that I can add, and I'm going to save that. Here's what it looks like on the page. So there's my original text and image at the top and 4 buttons. So then in another video I can show you how to add links either to text or to these buttons so that they will take you to a page or a website outside of Canvas.